Hi. No. Hello. Hi. Okay, so I'm currently working on a wonderful video. I'm in the trenches editing, and I decided to get a little time off, make an off-the-cuff video, just so I can keep feeding the beast, which is, YouTube and all the vids and shit like that. So, here we are. Take a deep breath. Cleansing breath. Okay, well, I'm going to grab a couple things. While I do, here's a little message I pre-recorded in a trance state. Okay, for those who didn't get my telepathic message, please click on the QR code or scan it, whatever you have to do, and buy me some coffee. We're trying to turn this into a professional operation or an actual cult.
He's so handsome.
Bye! And we're back. Okay, so, this was this. So I want to talk about two books. I just bought one I had for a while, and want to make a video about it. Series maybe, but it'd be a really kind of reformatting of the whole project. Let's start with the recent purchase. It's Fantasy Mapmaking by Cody James King, The Game Master's Guide to Fantasy Mapmaking. Ha! So, it's like a book to make your, improve your cartography skills, and it's interesting. It's not geared towards, make a living as a real cartographer, but who does that? I mean, I don't know. I think everything's going to be done by computers and AI. I don't see any. Maybe there's a lot of job listings for cartographers, but whatever. This is to make your fantasy maps. I think the first thing I remembered when I picked up Lord of the Rings was the fantasy map. My window's open, so you may hear some traffic. This is not a soundproof studio. This is my bedroom with my D20 throw. Because we're going to segue to another thing is Hasbro's turning, or it's been twerking towards making D&D more of a lifestyle brand, geek chic kind of crap. So one of the things they have published for a while, this has been out for a while, there's a couple follow-ups, is this monstrosity. It's not a bad book. It's fairly illustrated. I can't figure out if it's a proper cookbook or one of those coffee table cookbooks. Not like your grandma's Betty Crocker that's been passed down and torn up. It's more mainstream. All right, what it is, I'll tell you the dirty secret that I found out about it. Actually, a lot of the recipes are what I would call, they're kind of like reskins, or like a private label, if you know that in business. Basically, it's a product that already exists, and you just put a different label on it. It's kind of like that. They're recipes that have already been out there for ages from various cultures, and they basically put the D&D mojo in the label. So, like, for instance, let me use something very obvious. Traveler's Stew, this could be universal, but let's see here. It's like Sword Coast Seafood Bouillabaisse. Well, Bouillabaisse is something from Marseille. It's cuisine française. It is, French food. Uh, yep. My accent in that sounds completely different in French. When I'm in French, I sound a lot more hoity-toity, even for French people, or gay, you know. Not that there's anything wrong with being or sounding gay. Some people, my friends, say I sound gay. I think it's because I deeply suppress my Sephardic accent when I speak French. So, yeah. Here we are. Let me see. There's one that's just so obvious. But a lot of reskins, like, I have to find the page. But, like, for instance, instead of shepherd's pie, it's miner's pie on the Dwarven section. You don't know why the Dwarven accent. I always think Dwarven accents more sound like, I don't know, Ashkenazi Jews. It's horrible, but I mean, I'm part of the tribe, so I kind of look like a lost dwarf with my beard. And ironically, I'm also part Scottish from my dad's side. Maybe I am a dwarf, a stereotypical dwarf with a love of gold and mining. All right, Dwarven flatbread. Here we are. This one, smoked sausage and kraut with Dwarven mustard. That is an Alsatian dish. Alsace is this little land that is a part of France, part of Germany, part of France. One side if one age you can go and head back to Switzerland towards Basel. It's kind of this crossroads culturally. It's like German French. And this dish in French is called choucroute garni. Choucroute is sauerkraut. Garni means garnish. It's usually garnished with sausage, sometimes goose sausage, and all kinds of delicious stuff. And let me see. And it has optional juniper berries in the book. Juniper berries are like a must-have in the thing. It's a little magical thing. But again, they take real-world recipes and just zhuzh them up. I wish if you're going to do that, put an appendix in the back for real-world inspirations. I mean, what else? Black pudding. I don't know if it's black pudding, although it's also a D&D monster, but black pudding is a British dish. Let me see. Like hogs in a bedroll. Or I used to call pigs in a blanket. Yeah. Is it bad? No. The illustrations and pictures are gorgeous. It's just, I don't know. I just wish it referred more to, like, the real world inspiration. There's even, like, Karator noodles, which Karator is the Forgotten Realms, Asia, or Oriental setting when Orient just met East or Asian before it became more touchy. Words evolve, and language changes. Sometimes using the word Negro out of context, you might as well be calling the Earth one ending. And either way, whatever, right? You just don't want to hurt people. You should, Also, and we should all have thicker skins. We should thicken our skins and temper our tongues, but not monitor who's doing what. That's me. That's my philosophy. So, back to this book. What recipes have I done so far? Only 3, and considering the amount of cookbooks that I have, not as many as my D&D, but it's like getting there. Let me tell you. I did what they call tavern steak, which is kind of reminds me a lot of not North African, I would say Greek / what other culture? Uh, Greek or even Arab, like Levantine kind of beef patties. I've seen some where they stuff a pita with lamb and a lamb or lamb beef bread. You know. Let me see. Yawning portal. Buttermilk biscuits. That's not there yet. I should have. Okay, the Cartour noodles are. Let me get this close. They're here. I'm not making this shit up. Oops, I said the S word. I'm sorry. Alright. Oh, here. Sure. I mean, here. Tavern steak. Which, those are the illustrations here. Basically, it's ground meats. The 2 sauces, and then let me read the ingredients for the meat. Okay, so you need 2 tablespoons of olive oil. I'll give you all the ratios, but you need equal parts ground lamb and ground beef combined, all that, and then the sauce. You have 2 sauces involved. One's a dill yogurt sauce, which it's kind of like tzatziki, but it uses dill pickles and dill as opposed to cucumbers and dill. And it's a yogurt creamy sauce. I use my blender to make it. Don't you just whisk it, just shove it in the blender quicker. The other one, which I haven't made, is the black olive and fig sauce. Just because I don't have a good source for figs. Again, I live, I'm not going to tell you where I live, but it's the boonies, you know. You know, what? They might have, I got to see if there's an Arab grocery around. There's a lot of Arabs who live in the area. Maybe I have time to go shop with the cousins, the enemy cousins. If you're in geopolitics, I don't think they're my enemies. Every man is every man's brother. Just gotta stop the violence. But there's a lot of just great recipes. Some recipes are just silly rebrands and like. Let me see. I'm gonna put this down. You don't want to see me flip out a book. You want to hear me rant. Yeah. So, there's a little book that, you know, do I recommend it? Kinda. I don't know who is it for. Is it for people who are so into the D&D universe that they want to recreate, you know, eat like Dritz and Elminster? Or is it more like you have a husband who's brilliant at D&D and the little lady here was going to cook D&D food just like when he watches football. She cooks football food, you know, like nachos and 7-layer dip. The kind of not crap, usually it's good, but it, you know, kind of stuff that's making me fat. Yeah, I'm fat. I don't know if you noticed. I'm working on it. Alright, I am a chubber. Ha ha ha. Alright, what else? Alright, so why am I making? So this book, okay, let me tell you. Read some more. Okay, it's called, let me put it here. Dungeons and Dragons Heroes Feast Official D&D Cookbook. Oh, sorry. The authors are Kyle Newman, John Peterson, and Michael Whitwer. Alright, so that's the first one. There's a bunch of one. Critical Role has theirs. Wonder if the Daggerheart cookbooks will just list the ingredients, but you get to decide the dosage. But for talking dosage. With your players, people are going to eat your food, and you have to kind of negotiate before. I don't know. I just want to play Daggerheart. I think it's the future of the touchy-feely theater kid D&D. It is the future of the crunchy, or well, that sounds super crunchy game, but Shadow Dark was more for the grognarky, or the people who want to play modern D&D but think they're playing OS classic D&D. You know, they're not playing. It is OSR because it's that vibe, but it's a rollover system. It's the 5th edition light. I think a lot of the OSR are, they take, some of it is rewriting the rules for classic first edition DSC, D&D, not DSC, but with better language, maybe more accessible to the kids. Let's see, the Zoomers and the Alphas and whatever. And I think the next thing is you have that people who are about the vibe and the, oh my god, my character is gonna die feel you get playing classic D&D. Or just taking the parts they like from classic D&D and the parts they like from regular D&D. That's where you get games like Shadow Dark, Dungeon Crawl Classics. God, I'm just like talking about the same old crap. I don't follow D&D news that much unless, you know, I mean, I don't know. It's just Hasbro's doing its Hasbro thing. You know, trying, you know, like the big news was like having more, like Pathfinder is putting shit content, not HIT, but content on D&D Beyond. And Chaosium's putting content on D&D Beyond. It's like the same, something happened like that was more organic when the D20 license was just there. The old school 3.0, 3.5 D&D with a D20 license. I had to put D20 system on it. And you're good to go, you know. And, you know, some people put the SDR and pocket format so you could get the rules, but in pocket edition, because What's So Hasbro, never heard of it. What's So Hasbro? Yeah, that's a cool new name for, or it could be like, you know, mentally challenged evil NPCs. What's So Hasbro? Alright. Not a good comedy. I try. I can do voices. I am Grover and Yoda adjacent. Am I? And my kid wants me to buy an older Pokemon game that somehow slipped through the cracks. I wonder if there's probably a couple TTRPGs that are Pokemon inspired. Alright, well, I'm going to grab a couple things, do some, I don't know, and talk to you a little bit more. I'm recording this, and equalize and polish a little bit this video before I pop it on tonight. And I'll probably be available in 24 to 48 hours. All right. Get out of the way. I'm going to play that. I'm recording right now. I will buy that book. I'm done recording this. I don't know if this is getting on the tape. I would, I'm going to put main camera. 5, 4, 3, 2. We're back. My kid. Look at me hair. Ugh. All right. I'm back. Oh, here's something I bought for my kid. Somehow I made it on my bookshelf. These things. This is volume 1. The volume 2 is like $1,000. Yeah, buy books used, and sometimes it's ridiculous, especially if they're out of print. I am itching to put some ointment on my inner thigh. Why am I sharing this? All right. Yeah, so I still got to read the My Little Pony book. See if my daughter really wants to play or if I just bought a gag gift. But kind of in between. I really am curious. Again, I still think that I have a sneaking suspicion that Hasbro is going to hire Renegade for 6th edition or 7th. It's going to happen. Renegade's already doing all the Vampire World of Darkness newer stuff. What else are they doing? They're basically kind of taking over. I think they have their own system for Pony and Transformers and what else? Power Rangers and G.I. Joes. And 3 of them are already Hasbro properties. So, again, all they'd have to do is make their own version. The intelligence stat, one of the stats was going to disappear, which is kind of funny. Or just add it for the D&D version and swoop it in, Again, I think the real reason why Hasbro comes up with new rule set is to force people to buy new systems. Otherwise, after 3rd edition, 4th edition would have been an incremental change off of 3.5. Never was. It was an attempt to bring in the players who are playing World of Warcraft, which is ironic because there was a World of Warcraft TTRPG that was on the D20 system. The EverQuest TTRPG was on the D20 system. So basically it's like, it's the Ouroboros. Have you ever seen the snake biting its tail? I think a lot of endeavors in the universe are that. You're chasing yourself and you don't even realize it. And you're eating yourself and not realizing. And that act, which should be self-destructive, actually keeps the universe contained. It's kind of deep, right? I don't know. A lot of thoughts popping in this head. I have this whole, and I want to make a video, but I don't think who's going to be interested. But it's like the 5.5, the 2024 edition of the Player's Handbook. They shifted your ability modifiers from race, species, whatever they're going to call it, to backgrounds. And I was thinking about just one thing I thought was kind of cool is if you're running an all one thing campaign, like every player is an elf, or every player is a dwarf, or you're running a no magic real world campaign and then everybody's human, you can then have ability modifiers regardless of that. If everybody is a dwarf, then the distinctions between dwarves would be your your background. But when you apply it to cross it, what it really boils down to kind of a philosophy debate or of nature versus nurture. Are you somebody who believes that what you are, who you are, is something innate to you, or is it something that is bred in or taught to you? Bred, I mean, not as inbreeding. I'm talking about like kind of educated in. I like the British version of the word. Either way, uh, proper breeding. Basically, are you taught to be a certain way? Are you? But not just that. Are you? Is your strength? Is your? I remember in college, certain professors and certain students, of who are feminists, believe it or not, uh, they would argue that no, women are not as strong as men because they're taught not to be strong. That they're not let to play the rough and tumble games. They're not, and therefore they don't develop their bodies. Okay, it seems very counterintuitive to biology from what we know from I don't know animal dimorphism that we see across other mammals, and sometimes it's not the males that are bigger. There are dimorphic species. Humans just have to be part of it. And so you have people who are like, oh, everything's biological. And some mean everything's cultural. Everything's part of your background. And so that shift is kind of a philosophy shift. A long time, the elves are magical and mystical because, well, that's what all the elves do. So they get to be smarter, more artistic, and I think it's below it. I just think it's kind of neat to play somebody who's radically different, to attribute all the differences just to your background. Oh, a good house rule would be, first of all, right now, if I was running a game, I should. I would basically have players create the character with either version of the player's handbook, but we would try to use 5.5 terminology. So if you want to create a half elf using 5th edition, perfectly cool with me. But, it's a species, not a race. Just to keep everybody on the more or less same page. Same thing with spells. Use the spell book you have and whatever. It's just fine, I think, I remember there was still regular player handbooks on the shelf when 5.5 came out. Like, total self-cannibalism. And people would be... I think that limited their sales. They should have made sure the stock was gone or bought back the books and recycle them. That's a horrible thing to say because I don't believe in destroying books, but yeah. Or donate them to libraries, and they can... That's what libraries are for, to hold old books. And they would have sold more to the public. Which brings me to my next thing. Sometimes I went to buy it and they will have a D&D book, like a player's handbook or a monster manual, but not the whole set. And you find out somebody's been checked out those books for 6 years. Or somebody's opposed. We don't live at the peak of satanic panic. But yeah, I remember when, people were scared. And ironically, some of the best people to play with, people with most imagination, were very Christian. Some of my best player friends were very religious, very either Protestant, Christian, or Roman Catholic, which is Christian. If any church that believes Jesus is the Messiah, that's Christian. Yeah, people believe in the Old Testament, but don't. Mostly Jewish. Debate whether a couple thousand Samaritans in the Holy Land are Jewish or their own thing, I think they're the same. Although they weren't considered the same in the time of Jesus, hence the whole Good Samaritan story. Ugh. Either way, why were you talking religion? Well, religion's a big part of D&D. Your characters some of them get powers from gods or extra dimensional entities, and does that bother you? One of the reasons I got Dolmen Wood. One of the reasons I got curious about it was that there's like a monotheistic church in there, and as a person who thinks, fantasy starts with Tolkien, well, the thing is, I don't think D&D was supposed to be strictly Tolkien. I think they also took a lot of inspiration from all kinds of crazy sources. Vance. Who else? I don't know. Fuck. Yeah, this is more like me ranting. When I write fuck up or...
That was easy. That was easy.
Yeah, that's my easy button. Easy. Yeah, I got that from Staples. Whenever they sell those, buy them. They're always fun to have. Push it. My dad used to have another one. It was like a sound of a submarine diving. The kind of thing you hear supposedly on the inside. I've never been on a Navy sub. Closest thing I've ever been to a sub is the fake subs at Disneyland, which are claustrophobic and whatever. They're still fun. Basically, they're technically semi-subs because they're designed so that most of the structure is actually under the waterline, but they don't really dive down. They just go in a tunnel. I hope the House of Mouse doesn't sue me for this secret. All right. I gotta do some shit. A couple things I gotta get in my life squared. And this is another diary video where I pour my heart out and tell you all my deep, dark secrets. Secrets. I don't know, my wife is watching something pretty loud. I don't know if you're gonna hear it. Otherwise, I can just put voice isolate. But this the other thing. Everything's changed so much. Alright. Yeah, I'm turning into like a one-man podcast. Oh. Yeah. Oh. My underwear drawer. I need to close it tighter. Also, I've been looking for this. This is one of my... Well, actually, it's the only current pedal I'm running. And I don't really always run it with a guitar. Sometimes what I do is I take this. I take one of my sequencer, which is specific for medieval sounds. It's the medieval from... Teenage Engineering, and basically it's preloaded sampler with a bunch of medieval. And the screen froze. Well, I'm gonna stop recording and we're gonna stitch this together. Not like that. Okay. Oh, sorry, I had a technical difficulty. I'm literally not even gonna try to hide it. Alright, so like I was talking about, favorite pedal that I use in conjunction with this. So I usually patch it through. I set the signal that I'm dry versus wet 50, so I get an additional voice. And then, usually when I'm using it, I also sometimes use my another VST, and I have my little keys. Although I'm not a keyboardist, I'm mid. Sometimes I use my keys and play that. Sometimes I'll just mess with the number keys, create little melodies or a sequence. Just play the number keys like an instrument. Um, when I occasionally try to make dungeon synth music because I'm a big freaking nerd. Okay, like I think everything I do has become dungeon weirdness and whatnot. Okay, for those who didn't get my telepathic message, please click on the QR code or scan it, whatever you have to do, and buy me some coffee. We're trying to turn this into a professional operation or an actual cult. Bye! Alright, I just clicked a button and nobody has ever donated on this thing yet. I figure I'm going to try to push out my buy me coffee as much as possible. Who knows? Maybe somebody will be like, oh, this motherfucker needs the money. He looks desperate. He's lost his mind. Give him 50 cents, a buck. Who cares, So, yeah. Well, I think this wraps up. I don't know how much combined video is going to be. It's just me ranting like a loon. I don't patch them together. I'm going to cut out some of the silence using AI editing. AI editing is the shit. I mean, you don't hear editors complain because editors figured out, like movie editors, that they can have those tools in their belt. And yeah, few people are, artists, people who draw and stuff, they're already struggling. Editors, there's this barrier to entry. It's shrunk. Used to be you'd have to spend $10,000s of '90s dollars to get. Avid. Oh, sorry, they make a good fidget. If you need a fidget thing, just get one of those little stomper buttons for a guitar pedal. Yeah, you'll enjoy. So this is me. I'm gonna post this. I'm working on a video on how to use D&D to improve your life, to revisualize yourself and rate the categories of your life and award yourself for effort. Just great content, and I didn't come up with the idea. I do credit the lady who wrote a book that I can't remember, but Kat Kruger, I believe. Yeah, that's the lady who wrote the self-help book. I think it's how to make everything more D&D, but yeah, I think that's the title. I don't know. Either way, I'm crediting her. Just working on inserts and trying to get more stock footage, less AI content, because I always get these schmucks who say, oh, your videos are just AI slop. AI slop. My daughter gets called AI slop, and she does her videos by hand. All her videos are her drawing. She doesn't show her face. She's very discreet. She says she doesn't want a PDF person to find her. I told her daddy will protect her thanks to the God and the NRA. But I agree. All right. Needless to say, I got to get off because I'm just talking like a moron. There's Fox News and CNN for that. They're both equally as bad. They just root for different teams, and they play the American people against itself. Why I hate politics. Ay, 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 ay. On est foutu. Well, if you've watched this, you're maybe related to me, or I don't know. I don't know why you'd watch this, but thank you. Don't forget, please subscribe. Bye.